Welcome to our Shire podcast. I'm in the studio at the Premier Properties Perth offices in King Street in Perth today with Ian Johnson from Johnson Media, and our guest today is Karen Steele. Karen, along with being the chairperson for Perth Farmers Market, is also the owner and of Good Life Farming, and you will have seen Good Life Farming all over the place if you've attended the markets and around the region. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Now, this is weird because we know each other very, very well.
Very well.
So having this chat, being filmed and talking about stuff that we talk about every day is a bit weird, but we're going to have a bit of fun. So I wanted you just to tell everyone, do an introduction, tell people who you are, what you do, and tell them a little bit about Good Life Farming as well, because I think that's really important that people know who you are before we start to talk about the farmers market.
Okay, so I'm Karen, and I, along with my partner Donald, own Good Life Farming, and Donald is the farmer, and I do everything else. We rear our animals in retail through farmers markets and food festivals and events, really across Scotland, but definitely the local area. So we rear dairy bull calves for Rosevale, and we also have rare breed pigs for rare breed pork. So
when you say rare breed, what does that mean?
So we have got large black pigs, and we've got Gloucester Old Spot pigs, and they themselves are rare on the rare breed list. So really, we've got to be eating these, or else they'll just become extinct, which is not ideal.
Right. Okay.
And they're different to commercial pigs, like your white pigs that are found in butcher shops and supermarkets and stuff. So they take longer to rear, but the flavour is immense.
Okay. I did not know that. So these are literally very rare, could go out of extinction pigs. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, and this, I presume, your farm is part of a big up thing to try and sort of regenerate these breeds and bring them more back into the mainstream.
Definitely. We started 12 years ago, we started doing this, and it was my partner is a relief dairyman, so he goes around farms milking cows for everybody else.
Okay.
And because of that, he seen that bull calves serve no purpose for dairy farmers, and he, being very keen on calves, decided that he wanted to take in the calves from dairy farms and rear them. That's fine, but we needed an outlet for them.
Right.
So doing our research, we then found that there wasn't very many Rosevale producers in Scotland. At the time, there was only one other, and now there's only us in Scotland.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, it's that way that if you're not eating Rosevale, then these bull calves serve no purpose, and they will be shot at birth.
Right. So this is ethical. This is a way to actually give them a purpose.
Definitely.
Fantastic. I've eaten your produce and I can vouch for it. It's extremely good. I don't tend to get too sort of involved in thinking about where meat comes from. I'm down the ignorance is bliss kind of idea. I just enjoy it, and I do love my food. Right, so we're going to talk about Perth Farmers Market. A lot of you will know that the Skin Palace Garden Fair is approaching the last weekend in May, I believe. So 30th and 31st. And for the first year, they are collaborating with the Farmers Market, and the Farmers Market will be going into the Skin Palace Garden Fair with their own space, and the traders will be there, so you can also go and enjoy the flowers and the fauna, but you can also go and stock up on all your goodies. So how did that come around, and tell us a bit more about it and what's happening?
So Skin Palace approached us looking to have a farmers market at the event. They're really trying to make the event for everybody, and felt that bringing food and drink into the event would add an element that was perhaps missing. So Skin Palace approached us and asked if we would put on a market at the event, which was absolutely
an easy decision to make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then through conversation as well, we have decided that we're going to put on a food demonstration as well. So the chef from Skin Palace is going to do a food demonstration on the Friday, and the chef from 62 Taste Street has agreed to do a demonstration on the Sunday.
Fantastic.
But not only that, he's going to use produce from the traders that are trading at the farmers market, as well as produce that's grown and reared at Scone Palace. So it's a brilliantly,
Good, wonderful collaboration.
absolutely.
So we don't know what. I mean, I presume they will be going around. It's a bit like Ready, Steady, Cook. Is that what they're going to do? Go around and go, right, we'll have a bit of this, a bit of that, and
Well,
see
we've
what
been a bit
comes up.
kinder and we've given them a list of traders.
Boom! That's a bit cheating.
We've given them a list of traders and invited the traders to offer produce to them. This was for them to be able to create dishes that they can then show being cooked at the event and then offer tasters to the customers that are there who are interested.
And has a menu been created yet?
That's a work in progress just now.
So you're just not.
I'm not going to tell you, to
Okay.
be perfectly honest. You'll have to come along and see.
Well, the garden fair is massive. I mean, I have to be honest, last year was the first time I went to the garden fair. I'd never been before, but I went along and I was kind of bamboozled by the event. It was so busy, hugely busy, and every stall, every part of it was full of people. And it was great to see. So adding this element to it is a wonderful addition. And what I think moving forward, I presume we're hoping for more collaborations with Scone Palace, or this gives us an opportunity to see the farmers market outside of its normal habitat.
I think there's definitely room for growth there. I think there's definitely room for collaboration further with Scone Palace, but like you said, other venues around Perthshire, there's no reason why we couldn't be popping up at these places, and it's an opportunity for traders, but it's also an opportunity for customers to see what offerings you could get at the farmers market if maybe you can't go on the farmers market day.
And obviously this isn't just for local people. People that are coming in will see that the farmers market, wow, okay, this farmers market, and it's up every month. We must go.
Yeah.
So it's a really good opportunity for that as well. I mean, in Perthshire and Kinrossshire, there are, I think, 5 farmers markets. There's Aberfeldy, Pitlochry, Blairgowrie, Perth, and Kinross. With, and I know Crieff, Alan Murphy at Crieff is trying hard to get Crieff moving as well. But Perthshire, being so geographically immense, lends itself very well to producing.
I think there's so many fantastic producers in Perth and Kinross that there's scope there for everybody to have a great farmers market.
Yeah, for me, it almost, because I know some of them are seasonal as well. They don't run 12 months of the year like the one in Perth. But it does show that there is an appetite, excuse the pun, for a larger and more complete offering.
Definitely.
Okay, that's interesting. So we'll come back into town and the farmers market, well, just out of town, into the Southwich car park, which I know a lot of people on social media, every time there's a farmers market, you see and read people saying should come back into town. Well, we know that obviously can't happen. It's outgrown city centre. But you've just, there is opportunity for other markets to come along, or for you to grow out of. Now, last year there were the Fair City markets. There was a couple of them, 2 or 3 in them.
There was 3 over the summer period, yeah.
Okay. And they were more focused on art and craft.
Correct, yeah.
With a splattering of food.
Yeah.
And how did those go? And what was the how were those received, and how did they go for you guys?
So it was quite an interesting one. We decided to put on the Fair City markets in response to the posts and things on social media saying bring the market into town. So with the planning of that, we soon discovered that the space was very restricted in what we can do within the King Edward Street. So our maximum amount of traders that we could fit in there was going to be 28 traders.
Right.
So that in itself is very restrictive. We decided that we were going to offer a more lean towards crafts more because we didn't want a duplication of what you could find directly at the farmers market. It needed to have a different angle to it. And yes, there was 2 or 3 traders that went along who attend the farmers market, but in the whole it was an offering of something different. So we felt like we met that demand that was on social media. There was the traders' feedback was very much that the crafters done well at it. There was footfall at the markets, but I would say it wasn't as well supported as we would have expected, given
the noise
about bringing the farmers market into town.
And obviously you're much more restricted space-wise, which I think is the biggest, the logistics
Definitely.
of it all. You
Logistics,
have to come
even
in, all everyone has to
yeah,
drive in, unpack, and then set up and break down.
yeah,
And that causes a lot of chaos.
exactly.
And I think, obviously, the car park, you're not interfering and stumbling over shoppers and people
Yeah,
going about their day.
exactly.
So yeah, it makes sense to me. But also, I got PKC have stopped the traders from trading down the museum, so you don't have that space.
You're
either.
restricted to the top half of sort of outside the Bank of Scotland building and up towards the
Corner
protection area, yeah.
gardens.
But you're not allowed beyond Waterstones downwards. So that's that's a change. That's not what it was when we had the farmers market in King Edward Street before.
No, so when you're sort of restricting the space, but the offering
Yeah.
is growing, then
It doesn't
it just
add up.
doesn't fit.
It doesn't add up. No.
It literally just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting because yeah, I mean when you're talking only of one small area, one small street, then I guess it's difficult to kind of put on a show.
Definitely.
And you need to be able to have that extra space for it to be a destination. I think we've talked about this in the past, and we still talk about this. And the Perth farmers market being down in the South Inch, there's opportunity for growth. So you guys yourselves are doing hot food. There's an idea to expand on a hot food offering. But one of the things that we always talk about is that the Perth farmers market is a retail offering and nothing more at the moment. But there are potential plans ahead to try and increase that to make it more of a visitor destination so that people can go down, sit, enjoy entertainment, chat, listen to music, or whether there's inflatables or whatever it is that encourage people to dwell, spend more time, eat something while they're there, and then spend money to take their goodies home with them. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Is there any possibility that this might happen in the future?
I think there's always so to make you understand, sorry, I was about to make a statement there and I think I better backtrack and re-understand. There's a bit of a misconception that the farmers market is run by Perth and Kinross Council. The other misconception is that it's run by a private company by one individual.
Right.
That is not the case.
No.
We were very lucky that we had a market coordinator who was with us for 16 years and run it very, very well. But unfortunately, she retired last year. But the whole time it's actually been as a limited society and it's run by a board of volunteers.
Right.
Now, yes, we do employ a market coordinator, we do have a stall build team, and we do have a bookkeeper, but it is run ultimately by a board of volunteers.
And you have a business to run at the same time.
We have businesses. We have all businesses to run. Yeah. So the board are made up of all traders, which is great because we've all got vested interest in making the market as a whole succeed.
Yeah.
But it comes with its limitations because we are all volunteers and we all have our businesses to run. So the statement I was going to make was that the board are having discussions about perhaps running sort of larger events that still hold on to our ethos, where you have to be a producer, not necessarily a farmer, but a producer. You've got to produce your own goods. And it's a unique selling point for Perth Farmers Market, I believe. I don't think that is necessarily the same for all the markets out there now. But it's something that we hold quite close as our ethos.
Yeah.
So keeping our ethos close to us, but running more sort of larger events. For example, we're talking about perhaps having a harvest festival later in the year. But at the moment, this is just talk at the board level to see, is it possible? Can we get other kind of communities linked into us to make it a bigger event and see what we can do?
And what could be, is there any assistance that you could have that we today could put out a call for? Because obviously a larger event around that type of idea would be very welcomed into Perthshire, and as a community I'm sure there would be a lot of buzz about it. I think people would really like that. And it would give an opportunity for all of the regional markets to come together and collaborate together. And I think that would be a really good thing as well, because it's such a large geographical area, Perth. To get to Aberfeldy, it's not just up the road, it's a good hike. So, and there are traders up there that you don't see down in Perth.
Yeah.
And I would love for there to be somewhere where they could all come together, and it could be one super mega market, if you like, without calling it a supermarket. Yeah, and that would really show off what we have here, because
Absolutely.
you've got a lot of food and drink investment going on out in Perthshire. Maybe not so much within Perth, but certainly in the rural areas, there's an awful lot of Two Towns Brewery, I think it is, up in Pitlochry, are building a brewery, and Ballintaggart are doing very, very well up in Aberfeldy. And people are creating. We were at the Berry Box farm. We saw you there
Yeah, it was
a
amazing.
couple of weeks ago. There's an awful lot going on, and unless you don't always get an opportunity to see what goes on. So bringing it all together, and we have incredible green space available to us within Perth City Centre. I don't think any city centre in Scotland has access to that kind of green space, a river, the assets that we have, and it would be lovely if we were actually using them better, using them more, and making the most out of it, and getting a return on the community investment, because we want to see these buildings and these assets being used all of the time. I mean, obviously, we've got the Highland Games, we've got the European Pipe Band Championships, but Rewind has gone this year. So we are looking to replace events that are big calendar moments for us, and I think possibly this Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
I'm not a farmer, so when's the harvest?
So we're loosely talking about September.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's so we're not kind of clashing, but other events that are already happening in the area. You're still hoping to have good weather
Yeah.
because we rely on the weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're loosely talking about just now, and the plans will keep moving forward for that. And yeah, hopefully we'll have an exciting announcement about that soon.
Oh, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So what else has been happening? What else have we got to look forward to? Because I know that there's a lot you want to talk about, but you're not allowed to talk
I'm not
about
allowed
it.
to talk about it,
So
yeah.
what else? So we really haven't got an awful lot more to talk about when it comes to the Perth Farmers Market. So what else can we talk about? Because we've got a bit of time left.
Did I talk too fast?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I tell you what. Why don't we wrap it up here, and we'll just we can touch on stuff and get you back in when we've got a little bit more meat on the bones, if you like.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good idea.
Fantastic. Well, Karen Steele, say goodbye to everyone. Which camera you look at? Look at this camera here and say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you to Karen. Thank you to Ian. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. And we will be back in a few days with Pete Gotkins, Ireland Fire Cage chef. But make sure you check out Scone Palace website and the Perth Farmers Market website and Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds, etc. Find out as much as you can about the upcoming garden fair and come along and support it. If the weather continues as it has been over the last couple of weeks, then we are in for a very good summer. Keep your fingers crossed. Thank you very much.